Hey class, it's Ashley. I'm back with another mentoring moment, and today we're talking about getting your big idea heard at work. I know a lot of you have skills, talents, and expertise that you want to be heard at work. You feel like you have better ways to do things. You have better ways to do things faster, more efficiently, that cost less, or that would be better for your customer, your client, the students you serve, the community. But you feel silenced at work. You feel like no one's listening at work, or you just don't feel like you and your ideas are valued in your industry. But I'm here to tell you that it may be your approach, it may be your positioning, and there are ways that you can get your big ideas heard and implemented and funded at work using these 4 strategies. I love talking about ways to improve your experience at work, to level up at work, to be more intentional at work, and just to make sure that we are really thriving in our careers, not just surviving, not just getting by, not just putting our head down and doing the work, not just hoping that something changes, but actually thriving at work. And a big part of thriving is feeling heard, feeling valued, feeling like someone cares about what you have to offer. And so I'm just so excited to dive into this conversation today and share 4 specific strategies for getting your big ideas heard at work. If this is something that resonates with you, be sure to make sure that you follow me on all socials. I'm on here on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Twitter, on Facebook, so make sure you're following there. I also have a YouTube channel that you do not want to miss out on, so make sure that you go on YouTube and search Ashley AsShire, and you can follow along with my expertise on YouTube as well. So let's dive in. So number 1, I want to start with, I want to start, even before I dive into the 4 strategies, I want to start with validation, right? So I think that a lot of times we undervalue our skill sets, right? We have degrees, we have credentials, we have certifications, we have knowledge, we have expertise, but oftentimes we undervalue that expertise. We think, oh, well, this doesn't, matter because I only did this for 2 years, or oh, this doesn't really matter because I didn't go to a top tier school, or though this doesn't really matter because I did this work, but I don't have the certification, or I don't have an official, certificate to back it up. And I'm here to tell you that employers are very much less caring about your degree, about your certificate, about your trainings, and they much more care about your commitment to applying the strategy, the knowledge, and the expertise you have to improve their organization. Of course, many organizations, many jobs have degree minimums, right? They have degree minimums. They have, minimum requirements, if you will. But beyond the minimum requirements, a lot of the skill sets that you have can be used to help you make more money, have more impact, and do more meaningful work in your industry. And the truth is that while your good ideas, while your big ideas may have been downplayed in a former organization, or maybe you're even downplaying them, it doesn't mean that they're not transformative ideas that really can drive an organization forward. I think that sometimes we're so smart and we're so capable and we're so knowledgeable that we downplay the really big ideas, the really good ideas we have, because we think, well, nobody's ever recognized me for my good ideas before, and nobody's ever valued my good ideas before, so they must not be that good. That's not true. It's more likely that you're just not well positioned in your good idea. You're not well positioned in your expertise. You're not well positioned in the marketplace. And so instead of continuing, right, to downplay your ideas, instead of continuing to downplay your expertise, let's help you be better positioned so that you can get more of what you desire out of your career. And so I just want to validate you. I want to honor the good ideas that you have, the big ideas that you have, the skill sets that you have. They're valuable and they're meaningful. And maybe you're downplaying them right now, but those big ideas, those great ideas can garner you tons more money in your career, and they can also garner you higher level positions, more prestige, and honestly, they can help you feel more confident in your career when you're really driving change and driving impact. So let's dive into the 4 strategies to get your big ideas heard at work. So number 1, you need to have and use existing equity. So strategy number one for getting your big ideas heard at work is that you need to have and use existing equity. So what does it mean to have and use existing equity? So basically what that means is that you need to have a good reputation at work, right? You need to already have a good reputation for doing good work, for driving results, for being someone that some people want to collaborate with, for doing work that's impactful and meaningful. You know, no one wants to hear from the person who just got on the job and is like, I have an idea to transform this whole organization. Nobody wants to hear that, right? Everybody wants to work with the person who has a good idea, who has implemented things in the past, who has sweat equity, who's been doing the work and wants to help the organization grow and develop. That's who people want to work with, and that's the person you want to be. So you want to have and use your existing equity. And let me tell you something. A lot of you have a lot of equity in your organizations. A lot of you have been doing good work for a really long time. A lot of you have been engaged and supportive and the first person to raise your hand for a really long time. A lot of you have been doing really good work for a really long time, and you kind of let that equity sit in a pot and you're not using it. You're not engaging your equity. You're not really cashing in on that equity, but now is the time. When it comes to getting your big ideas heard at work, you need to have and use your existing equity. And it doesn't matter what your position is. If you're an administrative assistant position, if you're an assistant director, if you're a director, if you know, a coordinator level position, if you just started in the organization a year ago, if you've been there for 7 years, it doesn't matter, you know, how long or, you know, how long you've been there or what your position is, you likely have some good equity in the organization. And so you want to have and use that equity to get your ideas heard. People are going to listen to people who have had success before. People like to be with a winner, right? So if you had some wins in the past, if you've done some good work in the past, it's going to be more likely that the organization is going to want to continue to work with you in the future. And they're going to want to fund your big ideas. They're going to want to support your big ideas. It's going to be easy for them to follow your big ideas because you've had good big ideas that have worked in the past. Okay, so strategy number 2 is show alignment with existing priorities. So strategy number 1 to get your big ideas heard at work is to have and use existing equity, right? To use the equity, your good name, your good reputation, the good work that you've done up to this point to build and amass like a following around your big idea. But strategy number 2 is to show alignment with existing priorities. So basically what that means is that every organization has a mission, a vision, values, purpose, a goal. You know, every organization you write annual goals. Maybe the entire organization has annual goals. Maybe there's some mission statement that your organization follows. Maybe there's some set of learning outcomes or customer expectations that your organization expects for you to meet, right? Whatever your big idea is should align with those goals, should align with that vision, should align with that mission. Your big idea should not likely be taking the organization well off their mission, right? And if it is, it's not impossible, but it's going to be a much harder road than if you have a big idea that's aligned with the existing mission, vision, values, and purpose of the organization. And let me tell you that I think that sometimes people overthink this part. They're just like, well, let's say, I work with, a lot of women who work in the human resource field. And so, they work in an organization where it's like, we value our employees and we want employees who are happy and feel affinity to the organization and want to grow and develop with this organization for years to come. And they're like, well, my idea is about training and onboarding and it's not exactly aligned with what they said the mission was. And so I'm not sure if my big idea can really have impact in this organization or if people are going to take me seriously. And the answer is they will absolutely take you seriously, because the biggest factor in people being retained at an organization and wanting to stay in an organization and grow in an organization is if they're happy, if they had good training and onboarding and a good experience when they came into the organization. And so if your big idea helps align or helps further the mission, vision, values, and purpose of the larger organization, then your big idea is going to get heard, it's going to get funded, it's going to get implemented, and you're going to be able to drive real change in an organization. So I want you to know that if you felt like, I have this idea and it's aligned with the values, but maybe it's accelerating the values of the organization, or it's taking us a little bit off course, or I'm not sure if people will like it. As long as you can correlate your big idea, your streamlined pathway, the work that you're trying to do with the alignment of the larger organization, then it's a big idea that should be heard. And let me put a little asterisk here. If you have a big idea to transform your industry, your organization, and you feel like it's totally misaligned with the values of your existing organization, that might be a red flag that you're working in the wrong industry, that you're working in the wrong organization, that you're working for the wrong boss, right? Like that's a good sign. That's a good telltale sign that, hey, maybe I'm not in the right place. I think that sometimes we try to force it. We're like, y'all should be doing this. Y'all should be doing this. Nobody's listening to me. When it's not that you don't have a good big idea, it's that your idea isn't aligned with the mission, vision, values, and purpose of that organization. And that's a sign that it's time for a career transition. And if you're in that place, this is a great opportunity for you to get mentorship from me, because we can work to help you find an organization that is actually aligned with what your desires are. But if you have a big idea that is aligned, then that's a sign, that's a green flag to move forward with this organization and get your big idea heard at work. So again, strategy number 1, have and use existing equity in your organization. Strategy number 2, show alignment with existing priorities. Strategy number 3, show what would happen if they don't implement your big idea. This one is the game changer. This is the one that they don't teach you in school. This is the one that when my mentees implement this, they get results. They get a yes. They get the support that they need. And so, when it comes to asking for something at work, whether you're asking for more money, asking for more staff, asking to transition a process, when it comes to asking for more at work, the biggest factor to determine if you're going to get it is to show what happens if you don't get it. Right? And let me be very clear that this is not a threat. We are not out here threatening our employers and telling them, well, listen, I'm gonna let you know, because if you don't do this and I'm gonna do this, we're not out here threatening our employers. That's not the approach we want to take. However, to get your big idea heard at work, you need to help the organization see what would happen if they don't implement your big idea. And let me give you an example. I have a mentee who works in higher education. She works in supporting mentors, a mentor and mentee program. And she wanted to streamline the mentor-mentee process, because what was happening is that she had all of these students and all of these, college age students who wanted to be mentored, who wanted support, who wanted to engage, alumni and other people who would mentor them. But she had a very low level of mentors. She had a very low level of people who actually wanted to mentor and be mentors to college age students. And so she determined that she needed the support. Her big idea was to do a massive campaign, engage alumni to want to be mentors to current students. And it was a really different approach, because typically they would just accept volunteers. They never really partner with alumni relations. It was kind of a word of mouth thing. It was going to take some money to send out mailers or to write an email campaign through the Alumni Association. It would take a new partnership relationship, because they hadn't really had relationships with the Alumni Association before. And so it was a big idea to actually partner with a different unit to rework and do some massive outreach to alumni for a mentorship relationship. And so it was a big idea. She really wanted to push it, and she was going and saying, hey, we need to do this, hey, we need to do this, and people were like, well, can't you just do this, can't you just do that? And maybe you've experienced that in your career. Every time you bring up an idea at work, every time you try to move something forward at work, every time you are trying to move the organization in a different direction, they're like, well, maybe we should just do this, maybe we should wait on that, maybe next year, next semester, next week. It's never right now. You can't get your big idea implemented. And so instead of going in with we should do this, and this is why, she said, if we don't do this, we'll have to shut down the mentoring program. We'll lose the grant that we have, the federal grant that we have. That will ensure that we lose 2 of the coordinators that pay for that grant. We would have to, refund the scholarships. Many of these students are, brought here on scholarship with the promise of a mentorship program. If we can't fulfill that promise, we're going to have to pull the scholarship. We'll probably lose those students, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So she started to run down, if we don't invest, right? If we don't invest in this mentorship program and marketing this mentorship in partnership with alumni relationships, here's what we'll lose as an organization. And then it was an easy yes. Then it was absolutely. Then it was, how much money do you need? Then it was, how much help do you need? Then it was, can we do it yesterday, right? Like the train started moving really fast when she started to explain to them what they would lose if they did not take action now. And you know, it's interesting. This is one of the same things that I try to talk to you all about when it comes to mentorship. I'm like, girl, you know, take action now in your career, because the next COVID, the next monkeypox, the next recession, the next downturn in the economy is coming. And if you're waiting for this one to pass, baby, this one gonna pass, but the next one gonna come. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's always time to take action now, but you really have to help people understand what they lose by not implementing your big idea. And it was a really powerful thing that we were working through to just really help this mentee really drive her big idea home, and she was able to do that successfully. And so that's just one example of, you know, how to show an organization what they lose by not implementing your big idea. So that's strategy number 3. And then strategy number 4 for getting your big idea heard at work is to request to fund the pilot, right? So of course, no organization is trying to sink $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 into a project that they aren't sure is going to work, right? And of course, you can do all the prep work to, you know, use your existing equity to show alignment, to make, to show them what they're missing. But, you know, if you're still asking for staff time or, you know, money or, you know, to partner, to start a new relationship, if you're asking for anything, you know, it might cost something, right? And if it doesn't cost money, it might cost time, it might cost people, it might cost other resources. So you're going to be asking for something. So always request to fund the pilot. Always say, hey, I want to try this for 3 months. Can you fund this for 3 months? Can you fund this for 6 months? Can we fund this for 2 years? Can we fund this for 2 semesters? Can we fund this for the next quarter, right? Like ask to request, to fund the pilot, right? Ask to start, have a begin time and an end time. Have it be shorter than what you know you would need, but show some outcome, some value, some win in the pilot, so that you can request ongoing funding, right? So I love to do this. I've done this throughout my career, and I will tell you, one of two things happen. Either I find success in it, and I'm able to request more funding and keep it going, or it doesn't work. It's not successful, but I close it out in a way that drives results, and people are willing to trust me to fund my next project. It's not that every big idea will work. It's not that every big idea will be massive success for you and your organization, but the goal is to build more equity, right? Step number 1 is to have and use existing equity. So everything we do at work should be building more equity, right? And so the goal is to make sure that you're building more equity. So even if your project, your big idea gets funded and they let you do it and kind of flops, that's okay. You want to close out the project you know, with a quality close, report the findings, let them know that it didn't work, and let them know that you look forward to implementing your next big idea in the future, right? It's okay to sunset something. It's okay to close something. It's okay to say that something didn't work. It's not okay to sit quietly by and let your career go to waste because you never wanted to share your big idea. Right? That's not okay. That's not okay. So definitely want to invite you to get your big ideas heard at work. These are the 4 strategies to do so. If you found this video helpful, if you have been thinking of a big idea to transform your career and you were like, yes, Ashley, this gave me something to think about, that means that you're likely a good fit for the Mentor Me Mastermind. I'm accepting new mentees into that program this week. I invite you to join the Mentor Me Mastermind today. It's a 6-month executive coaching experience with me. You and I will be working together between now and basically March 2023 on really elevating your career, helping you have some real career development identity and driving impact in your career in a way that maybe you haven't ever before. I'm excited to serve you. I'm excited to help you have some impact in your career, and I'm excited to help you drive some real results. You can shoot me a DM just to say, Ashley, learn more. Ashley, I want to learn more about the mastermind program. It is an intensive experience and a mastermind, powerful program with me. Like I said, we're getting started this month, and definitely want you to be a part of it. Definitely just DM me, learn more to get that insider. And I look forward to seeing you on my next live and in my DMs to learn more about the mastermind. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.